is something that we were possibly expecting once we got closer towards the 11 a.m. hour, as we've been keeping a close eye on the hurricane hunters, that data that they've been finding, and that pressure only continues to drop in the center of Milton. Those pressure now at 925 millibars, those sustained winds 160 miles per hour. And so Milton has now officially reached Category 5 hurricane strength. This is a system that is only continuing to thrive in the Gulf waters. Just a reminder, just yesterday is when it became that Category 1 hurricane. So this rapid intensification that Milton has undergone, this is true rapid intensification, just jumping now to 5 categories and above. And so just starting to see those sustained winds at 160 miles per hour. Again, the National Hurricane Center issuing that advisory update just now. And so they are only beginning to issue some of these outside of that 3-hour timestamp if they do notice more of that strengthening. This is the second one that we've gotten so far for this morning. And so there you go, the 3 to 4 to 5. Meteorologist Matt Barentine was tracking Milton earlier this morning. It was just becoming that major hurricane. Milton is now just a monster out in the Gulf waters. Here's a look at that forecast path. And so the National Hurricane Center still has Milton continuing as that Category 5 hurricane, approaching closer towards Mexico before making that curvature just to the northeast. Now here you start to see some of that weakening. The reason for that is because Milton is still expected to hit some of that dry air. That's something that really begins to weaken some of these systems. It's something that we're rooting for to happen once we get closer towards tomorrow, because it's only going to start to weaken that system. However, it's still going to be strong once it approaches closer towards central Florida. And so this will be a destructive system. And the National Hurricane Center still has just that center track just a little bit to the south there of Tampa. Still quite a wide cone of uncertainty, just extending towards the southern Big Bend region down towards Fort Myers, but expected to be a Cat 3 at landfall. Regardless of whatever that number says, however, the storm surge from the system, those strong sustained winds will be well over 100 miles per hour. It'll still bring in quite a bit of rainfall. So this is still going to be strong at landfall despite we start to see some of that weakening, but it is going to be something that we root for over the next 24 hours, that it'll start to attract some of that dry air to it. It gets sucked up into it. And so we'll start to see some of that weakening taking place. Now coming up in just a little bit, I'm going to be talking more about Hurricane Milton. Again, now a Category 5 hurricane in the Gulf waters. Our impacts here locally to only our rip current, but also more of that sunshine that we'll be tracking across our portion of the Gulf Coast.